There was, I don't know if you remember Harry Truman, but Harry Truman once said, the buck stops here. The buck stops with me. You know,
Right.
I'm responsible for this. Whether you like it or not, the buck stops here. In the state of Texas, the buck never stops anywhere.
Right.
The state of Texas, it always kind of like, well, it's his fault, it's her fault, it's that person's fault. You know, the governor would never say the buck stops with me. The attorney general would never say the buck stops with me. The speaker of the House, the buck stops with me. The legislators would never say the buck stops with me. The judges would never say, well, the buck stops with me. They all have this idea that they all have this blame game going around. I've heard judges that would say, well, I have to do this because the Texas Family Code says this. And then they'll say, well, you know what? This is what the judges determined. Well, and the judge says, well, I have to determine this way because of this.
The first judge told me that.
Tell me about that.
He told me that he had to rule this way because it was the Texas law. He said he had to give me the standard visitation.
That's pretty incredible. This idea, there's something else I'd like to talk with you about and get your opinion on. Again, the idea about the best interest of the child. Here's what people say, well, you know, the state needs to look out for the best interest of the child. Number one, nowhere in the Texas Family Code does it ever define what the best interest of the child is. They talk about the best interest of the child 140 times approximately, never once defined. There is this thing called the Hawley factors, and this came from my court case, and they said, well, these are some of the factors that we use. The Texas Supreme Court has affirmed this thing. Somehow these are the factors that we use to determine the best interest of the child. One judge looks at it, like you were saying, you know, the one judge looks at it and might say that this is the best interest of the child. Another judge would look at it and say, no, this judge is wrong. This is the best interest of the child. The best interest of the child is a guess. The best interest of a child is something that's done by attorneys, by social workers, by judges, by anybody except a father or a mother.
Right.
And that's what I think is the crying shame. So for me, and I've told you a little bit about what I do, I would rather see families together. The best environment for a child is to be raised in an intact home with his or her natural mother and father. Does that always happen? No. But that is, to me, the number one best interest of the child in almost every situation. Once you start to destroy homes, which the state of Texas also regularly does, we have no-fault divorce, something that completely boggles my mind, that, you know, a person can force divorce upon another person. And you go to a judge, and I've had these judges tell me, well, you know, when you come to my court, there will be a winner and a loser. Well, whenever you say that there's going to be a winner and a loser, the children are always the loser. Right. That's just the way it is.
Absolutely.
And but anyway, this whole best interest of the child, even if we say there is some definition to it, I do not understand how this Judge Jeff Addison,
yes,
how Jeff Addison can say that the best interest of the child is to be uprooted from what they've known as stability for the last year, 10 months with you, their whole school environment.
7 months the year before.
7 months the year before. Their mother who says, I can't handle these kids. The mother who has also been involved with drugs and alcohol, who has guns, loaded guns, lying around the house with an abusive new boyfriend or whatever it may be. And that's something that we don't really talk about either, because the most dangerous place for children in many instances is with a new boyfriend.
Right.
The mother's new boyfriend, a stepfather. I mean, it can be the other way too. It can be, you know, the father's new girlfriend or the stepmother. I'm not trying to say that all people like that are bad or anything, but that, statistically speaking, is much worse for children than for them to be with their natural mother or father.
Right.
And I don't understand how this judge would be able to say, you know, Cornelius, the best interest of your children is for me to rip them out of your lives, and the best interest of the child is for you to start paying child support to support the mother's drug habit.
Right. Or
alcohol habit or whatever, because we all know that the money that you're giving maybe doesn't even take care of the children.
Yeah.